But insecurity is really a fundamental problem of the failure of the rule of law. It can sometimes seem hopeless. It can feel as though the Nigerian rot is too deep, and one can sometimes wonder why we should even bother to try to effect some positive change. But we know we can change things, no matter how small. We know that the beginning of a bold transition can sometimes take just one person. The fact that something is difficult or unlikely is not a reason not to try. A bold transition cannot begin with the premise of pessimism. It must embrace audacity, the audacity of being both troublesome and innovative. It is time for us Nigerians to have a broader and more nuanced view of tyranny. The government does not have a monopoly, and a cursed monopoly it would be, on tyranny. Federal and state security forces dragging a journalist to prison, as continues to happen in this country, is tyranny. That journalist ill-treating his domestic worker is also tyranny. The disproportionate police targeting and murder of young men is tyranny. And the rape of women and girls by young men is also tyranny. Cultural norms that deny the right of property ownership to women is tyranny. It is tyranny when state governments do not pay pensioners until those pensioners slump and die as broken people. The physical harassment of lawyers and some judges is tyranny. And the use of the law by the rich to subjugate the poor is also tyranny. So as long as we refuse to untangle the knots of injustice, real peace cannot thrive. And so in the name of peace, we say things like, okay, just leave it. Okay, it's enough now. Okay, it was very bad, but you should just stop talking about it. Okay, just manage it now, we don't do. And by saying these, we continue to make mediocrity our norm. We fail to hold leaders accountable, and we turn what should be transparent systems into ugly, opaque cults. My experience also made me begin to think that there is something dead in us, something dead in our society. A death of self-awareness, a death of self-reflection, a death of compassion, a death of intellectual curiosity, a death of the ability for self-criticism. And I think it is time for a collective resurrection, so to speak. We cannot refuse to practice self-criticism and yet criticize the government. We cannot ignore the abuses by our religious, our traditional, our community leaders, and focus only on the abuses of political leaders. We cannot want to hide our own institutional failures while demanding transparency from government institutions. The first question we must ask is, what is the right thing to do? Not what is the materially beneficial thing to do, or what is the institutionally beneficial thing to do, but what is the right thing to do? Because if we do not do this, if we continue to sweep away injustice for the sake of a hollow peace, then we will leave behind for our children and their children an utterly bleak inheritance. Many, many Nigerians are disillusioned with our justice system. They believe that justice is for sale, that we can buy justice. And they have reason to believe this. They have seen the strange judgments in the courts, whether they be on election cases or commercial cases, which do not stand the test of fairness or the test of legal reasoning. Nigerians have heard of legal retainers being obtained through bribes. They have heard of contract laws used to extort money from the government. They have heard of lawyers who compromise their own clients for money. This is not common, but it does not have to be common to be something that needs to be addressed. One is too many. It is, as a friend of mine puts it, like your own doctor deliberately giving you poison. If one single doctor deliberately gives poison to a patient, that act has consequences for the entire medical profession. Nigerians are disillusioned because they know of senior members of the legal profession who act in unbefitting ways and who do not voluntarily recuse themselves when they should. If records routinely disappear and nothing happens to those responsible, then of course, records will continue to grow wings and fly into the sky. Cleaning the tarnished parts of a system ultimately make the whole system more credible. As the Nigerian Bar Association continues to challenge the abuses of power, it is also important to turn inwards and reflect on how to avoid being co-opted into the prevailing structure of the abuse of power. It seems to me that a bold transition that feels very urgent today is that of simplifying legal procedures to make the wheels of justice run more efficiently. Legal procedures should be simpler, shorter, cheaper. We deny justice when we delay justice, and victims deserve the emotional benefits of closure as soon as possible. So speaking of bold transitions, by this time next year, we will have a new president. It is essential for the future of Nigeria that the elections not only be free and fair and conducted transparently in accordance with both the letter and spirit of all the laws, but that it is seen and believed by the Nigerian people to be the case. We must believe that our voices have been heard. I know that the Nigerian Bar Association has been actively involved as an election observer, working with civil rights organizations, but your role in the upcoming elections will be critical, both in practical ways, such as you're already doing, but also legally in the court cases that inevitably follow elections in this country, although we hope that this will not be the case this time. And so I think I can speak for many Nigerians when I say that we are counting on you to act as our collective social conscience in the upcoming elections. Compassion may not be a word that we instinctively associate with the law, but compassion is intrinsically a driving force, whether explicitly stated or not, behind much of what the Nigerian Bar Association does. Compassion is one of the most powerful forces possible, and we lose a lot if we lose sight of compassion. And so as officers in the temple of justice, compassion is necessary to avoid the desecration of the temple.